Oh, another paper. I've written so many papers. Oh, what am I to do about my dissertation? It's coming so soon. I've read so many books of so many great minds, and some shallow ones too, like Ernest Becker and that fool that Marshall McLuhan. That the medium is the message. Oh Lord, now I have to regurgitate what that other gentleman said about plagiarism. Like, how are you supposed to get away with it? I guess from now on, anytime I think I'm copying someone, I will give them credit. Scoop doobly doo. But what am I going to do? I've read so many authors, then I can regurgitate the cherry-picked parts that are my favorite. I must come up with a dissertation that is all my own, for I am no different than the great minds that have come before me. My ideas must be as great, or at least as shallow as Ernest Becker. What am I going to come up with for my dissertation?
Oh, I think I got it. I think I got it. I don't know, but the money I need how many words can I write it all? Oh, I got it. I got it. How am I going to put this together? The cosmos is that which haunts itself. We need to go back. We need to encourage and rejuvenate the strength of the history of man that was found in the past. We need to bring that to the present and get away from all this dogmatism on the right and on the left.
Oh, the dissertation, what am I gonna do? It's gotta be something about me and you. It's gotta be applicable to communications. There's gotta be an extension of the great minds. I can't just produce nothing and pull bullshit out my ass. So let's start with an observation, a statement of facts, and if no one gets it, then I'll just say it's ambiguity. And if a great mind can't see it clear, then it must be ambiguity. Ambiguity, we love ambiguity. Now let's move over to ontology. Just a statement of the facts, like I've got 2 arms and most people have 2 arms. Most people do not leave the planet. Let's make some general assumptions about language. Language has hierarchies and gods and myths, and it has these particular facts about it, even though other people have shown me that I'm wrong. I think I'll just continue because I can't be anything other than the great Anton. So ontology speaks about the facts of the universe. And what are the facts? facts, what are the facts? Well, our Earth is in space, and it's in a solar system, and the solar system's in the universe. And that one incident that haunted me made me think about the universe haunting itself, because I am part of the cosmos. But wait, what do we do about all that pesky space, all that nothingness, separating not only one of my molecules from the other one, but I mean the big space, that stuff, that empty nothing that's out there separating the earth and the sun and the solar system from the universe and all that stuff. I got it. If we could just see it all as one big thing, as a big gargantuan organism. But how do we work with all of this problem about all of that space? Oh, I got it. Oh, I think I got it. Yep, I'm Mr. Anton. I can't go wrong. Let me type up my bullshit and feed it to the crowd. See what they think. I can defend this, I do believe so. Okay, what and how does this go? The cosmos is haunting itself as another. It's haunting itself as another. But I'm not Anton's brother. I'm not Anton's brother. I am most certainly other. I am most certainly other. But I'm in the cosmos all the same, and I'm here to haunt Anton. Let's sing. I'm haunting him as another. I'm haunting him as another. I'm certainly not his brother, so I'm haunting him as another. Boo! The cosmos is haunting itself as another. Boo! Haunting itself as another. Oh brother! Haunting myself as another. Oh brother! Boo! You see, wanting is invisible. Being guilty is invisible. Desiring things is invisible. Jealousy is invisible. Meaning is invisible. But these are all things. This is how I know. Kind of like consciousness. It's not a thing. It's not a thing you can point to. It's phenomenological. It's how we feel. And it's real. But it's not a thing. This is how I know that nothing is real. We feel it every day. We live through phenomenological aspects of our being every day that are real. They're a part of our lives. And have the cosmos haunting itself, oh Lord. Unless nothing is real. That's right. Nothing has to be real. Okay, we've got to join the enter of the universe to where we stand right now, into our little microcosm we call us our bacteria. And once we say we're connected, how do we say we're connected through all that space, all that nothing? You know, we got a problem here. I think, dear, what I'll just say is that nothing is real. Nothing is real. The G is that nothing is real. Oh, waking out of sleep, it dawns on me that other people sleep also. Lots of people sleep also. Almost everybody does sleep. It might make sense to call it the sleeping culture. Wait, anybody that does something is part of the culture that does that thing. It's almost time for me to get up and be a part of the peeing culture. Yeah, then I could be a part of the showering culture. And then I think I'll read and I'll be part of the book culture. Yeah, the book culture. And since we're all living, we'll be part of the living culture. Wait, I don't like living. I don't like the idea of living. We're dying. We're dying. Okay, we're part of the dying culture. Yeah. Culture, 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 culture. Oh, culture, culture. Anything I do, anything humanity does. Culture, 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 culture. I think I'll draw a line around it, call it culture. Culture, 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 culture. We're dying for the dying culture. We're reading for the reading culture. I'm on the internet now. I'm part of the internet culture. Culture, 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 culture. I think I'm gonna get up and be a part of the get up culture, the get up culture. I can't seem to get out of my mind the word culture, 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 culture. It just doesn't make sense to stop thinking about people in groups. Culture, 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 culture. It must be part of my communications. Culture, culture that has me looking at culture, 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 culture. Think I'll open my eyes 'cause I'm part of the eye-opening culture. Culture, culture, culture. Everything's in a culture. It's in the perimeter. The parameter of my petri dish. I like to draw all behaviors around conscious culture, conscious awake culture, 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 culture. I'm gonna go drink some coffee and walk the dog. I'll be a part of the dog walking culture, the coffee drinking culture, yeah, culture, 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 singing, singing culture, juggling culture. That's right. That's right. That's right. Culture, culture, culture. How redundant, how lame. Culture, culture. I'll be a part of the lame culture. Ooh. Hey, Val. You remember me telling you that story, you know, about growing up, adopted. You know how, I mean, many kids that are adopted, they feel kind of left out because, you know, I mean, what adopted kid wouldn't? Your parents gave you up for adoption. They left you isolated. They gave you away to someone else. You know, Val, I felt so alone. I suffered so much. I can't even talk about it. And I guess I want to say that because I felt so alone, it was really, really important for me to want to belong, to become a part of something, to become a part of something great, and to give back. But it was really, really important to not be alone. And somehow, communing with my neighbors and with other people kind of gave me this feeling of belonging,
a feeling of empowerment, and a feeling, just this feeling deep down of happiness that only comes along from feeling like I belong.
I know what you mean, dear. I'm Jewy.
But you know, all in all, being isolated and being alone, and that feeling of being alone, made me feel like somehow I was grander than everyone else. That I had something to impart, something about my particular individual being that was so important. That's when I knew I wanted to be a professor of communications. That's why getting this dissertation is so important. It's so important, dear.
I know what you mean, dear. You're very needy. That's why I let you talk over me in those videos. You know, making certain that your point is more prevalent than mine. It is your channel after all, and, well, I'm really happy that you give me the book plug on the YouTubes and that little plug in bed. Huh?
I'm an atheist, as you know, and I would never claim to be. But all that dogmatic religion has left me. Being a dogmatic moderate, I'm a dogmatic moderate. Let's get away from the poles. Not right, left, wrong, not atheist, not theist. I'm somewhere in between, you know what I mean. Somewhere in between, if you know what I mean. I'm a dogmatic moderate. Somewhere in the middle of all of the bullshit. Don't make sense. It makes sense to me,
Class. 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 Class! Anyone have any questions before we get started today? You.
Oh, I got a question. Yeah, you know how when you're waking up out of sleep, Professor, and it's like a pre-reflective, pre-lingual state, and you're waking up next to your pet dog or your pet turtle, and you start to identify with them, but not in the lingual sense of identification, but you obviously are engaged with their being a part of your universe at that time, but you're not thinking in words. Do you think that kind of identification, that mirror neuron interaction, that pre-reflective, prelingual connection with the animal is a way to kind of get out of that parenthetical anthropomorphism that your writing seems to suggest is the case?
Remember that not only are you always ever parenthetically bounded by language and by being anthropocentric, that there's no way to get out of it. There's no way to think your way out of it. There's no exception to this rule, and that you'll find through the history of humanity that there's only a few flawed thinkers out there that would find exception to that rule. And, if there's a border that's kind of, that we're not really certain about, I would dare say that now that I have professor as a suffix to my name, that I am now an authority on the matter, such that I would say anything contra to what I'm saying is either complete nonsense or that it's ambiguous. That the jury's still out on that one. But for the most part, I would say it's ambiguous, right? So hey, check this out.
But just to elaborate, Professor, on what his question was, doesn't anthropocentrism, isn't that referencing like a human god, kind of like Zeus or Jesus or that type of thing, and that's what anthropocentrism means, and that like if you believe in a beetle god or the sun as a god, that's non-anthropocentric, and that your use of the word anthropocentric is not really traditional or the vernacular regular way in which we use it, and that maybe what you're referencing is logocentrism, you know, like kind of the boundedness of words and language, and how you, if you're going to think, you have to think in words. Is that maybe what you were trying to get at? Instead of saying anthropocentric, maybe you meant logocentric, Professor? And then what about onomatopoeic words, you know, or referencing like another language's onomatopoeic word that doesn't really have a signified necessity to it? Could you expound on that, Professor? Maybe a little bit.
Well, how could you possibly imagine that? It's impossible to think that way, right? Because you're still, you're still kind of bounded into that requirement, that anthropomorphic lockdown. Sorry, that's just way too ambiguous. You.
Yes, Professor,
This question, I guess, has to do with some claims and some contention that was on YouTube at one time, suggesting that language, by its very nature, is that it has theocratic elements in it, that it's socio-historic, and that it's hierarchical, and always seems to include a possibility of counting. And I wanted to see if you might want to elaborate a little bit about the Piraha or certain other esoteric or primitive languages, kind of like that gentleman brought up about the Piraha. It just seemed to me, Professor, that perhaps these other languages, are evidence to not have those particular aspects that you seem to you seem so assured are imbued in language. And I was just kind of hoping that you might elaborate a little bit.
The jury's out on that one still, but I would say that it's ambiguous. From my particular opinion, though, how I would go about answering that is something like, just like anything else, there'll be 5 of these. It doesn't happen in a day. You got to put in the time. You got to make certain you get the reading done. You got to put in the time. So just remember, folks, I'm the professor, and we just
can't do a worm song on a toilet, 'cause that would be tacky. I do not know what to say. Is it possible for this earthworm I caught today? Is it possible that this earthworm loves me or fears me? Is it possible it's even aware of my being? I don't know, I just don't know.
But look at it move, and when I picked it up it was so fearing, and it squirted, and it wriggled, and it seemed like it really did not want to be picked up, and then once in my hand it was, I'm guessing maybe, it was warm because it was calm, it wasn't all flip-flopping around. What can I say? Does the worm now love me? Isn't my wife calm? Isn't she calm around me? She doesn't appear to be all dramatic in the sort. Does she love me more than this worm? Aren't I caught within anthropomorphism? Anything I say about the worm, isn't it just me, a human speaking, applying it to this wriggling worm? But look at it come up to me and it kisses me. Look at it come up to me again and it kisses me again. My wife kisses me, my wife has come around me. Is it possible through all of the text that I've read that I'm just so text-based, I'm so word regurgitating that I'm caught inside of a limit, some parenthetical psychological limit that tells me that worms cannot love, they do not know the meaning, that worms do not think, they are not sentient beings. But it has ganglia, and it wriggles back and forth. Perhaps reductionism itself could be applied to this biology. I suppose I only want to speak of the limits of reductionism and hold fast to what I believe those limits to be. Does not love me. I wonder why it sticks around. I don't know quite why I'd make a worm love song, but here it is and it's almost done. Why would I do it on the toilet? Perhaps I'd like this worm to drown, go down with my bodily functions. Or perhaps I care about its immortal soul. Like a Mormon. And I'm gonna make certain my thesis is just like them. It's so close to their doctorate. So I guess I'm a lot like a Mormon. Like a Mormon.
Oh, got smacked for the very first time like a Mormon. If I didn't know better as the actor of this musical, I would think that Corey Anton's adoptive parents were Mormon, and that my philosophy lays hand in hand with the Mormons. Why would I say that? Because they believe in a restoration, and I believe in a rejuvenation of the stoical approach to humanity. Like a Mormon, I believe life is a time and a mission. It has hierarchies, and it's about authority. If I wasn't a professor, I'd want to be a policeman so I could enforce an authority. No. No.
You can't have it back. You can't have my tenure back. People believe what I say. People believe it. I say stuff and people believe it. Stay away, faculty. Stay away, advisors. You can't have my tenure back. You Indian givers. I can't believe that. You can't have it back. You can't have it back.
Honey, wake up! Honey, wake up! Honey, wake up!
No, you can't have my tenure.
Honey, wake up!
Oh, I was just having a nightmare. There. I can't believe it. Something about Einstein. They wanted to take away my tenure because he removed the ether in the universe with his thesis. And I'm trying to put it back.
Well, that's nice, dear, but get up. You have just enough time to do it before you gotta go to school.
Okay, honey, let's do it. Let's do it, dear. Come here.
Honey,
Yeah.
you seem mean. I want you to do it rough.
Okay, dear, I'll do it rough. I want to do it in your butt, though, dear.
What?
Yeah, I want to do it in your butt. I've got something to say to Einstein. Einstein! Einstein! You piece of shit, Einstein! I'll do you in the ass, you 26-year-old patent clerk, Einstein! How dare you remove the ether from the universe last century, Einstein? I'm gonna stick it in your butt, Einstein! You asshole! The universe was better when it was all connected, and your theories of physics removed the ether. I can't believe it, Einstein! Einstein! I hate you, Einstein! The ether is real. The ether is real. The cosmos is one and nothing is real. It's all put together. Fuck you, you 26-year-old patent monkey bastard. How was that, Val? Was that 8 minutes?
No, about 2 minutes, dear.
Oh.
You know, dear, it really got me thinking about my book while you were doing that on sex. I think I'm gonna have a chapter called Shit Babies. Yeah, it'll be called Shit Babies. I mean, it's about how you can get pregnant in the butt once every 24 hours and give birth in the toilet. I'll call it the Shit Baby chapter.
That's great, dear. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go shower. Class. Glad I have your attention today. Class! Okay, today's lesson is going to be about how we're all connected. We're all part of the same stuff. You know, the universe humans, or the universe planets, and the planets human, or at least the Earth humans, and then the humans God, but it's all kind of one big thing. I mean, we're all part of nature, you know, we're all part of the cosmos. I mean, there's really no denying it, right? There's no contention here. Nobody has a thesis that differs from that in the slightest. Now, because we are all one kind of energetic jelly of energy, it's really difficult for me to distinguish my prestigious self as a professor and a unique individual that really likes a lot of attention and personally likes to climb and is an individual and juggles, which you guys do not do, right? That's a distinction, but it's hard to make a real distinction between, let's say, my hand and the air and your body, the you that we call you. There's a hard, we can't really tell distinctions. It's kind of this dogmatic, hoodwinking of the language to call something ourselves and something different from ourselves, but we do it. Somehow there's this hoodwinking in the universe that twists us off and makes us separate. But because for the most part the cosmos is it's all just one thing, right? We're this gelatinous one thinginess. If anyone has a question, what I'm going to do is instead of pointing to you, indicating a difference from my wrist to my hand to my finger through the air to you, I'm just going to kind of, I might not actually point. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Anyone? Okay. Okay, that's not working, obviously. You can't tell who it is I'm getting at unless I point to you. Okay, so how about this? That part of the room that has a question over there. That part of the cosmos that has a question over there. Okay. Look, you're part of the cosmos. You are part of the cosmos that has a question. You are over there. I am over here. The cosmos is here. The part of the cosmos that has a question. Ask your question. Ask it.
Yes, ProfessoRanton. Didn't Einstein himself kind of, remove the Newtonian notion of the ether that the light travels through and focus more primarily on light as particle, light as wave, but seeming something empty or something separate from the nothingness from which that the light travels, instead of saying that there's an ether, a something that one might describe as a nothing that light travels through, and
Ambiguous. Okay. The Einstein ether issue. I just had a dream this morning about that, and yes, he did speak of objects as digital variables inside of the language. Inside of the language, we have not operators that make distinction one item from another, unlike the ontological, physical, factual universe from which we live, right? Now, some might say that the space, that kind of empty, vacuous nothingness that photons can travel through, isn't an ether, and I guess Einstein says it's not, right? So I appreciate the question. But, Einstein has some critics, and I may be one of them. I may be a hypocrite here. But my feeling is that one planet and another planet are both planets. Therefore, they are separate from one another. But since they're both planets, they are the same things. We are all made from the same stardust. That's right, from the same stardust. Read your New Age philosophy, folks. Okay. Good question. I'll think about that and maybe get back to you on that if I'm not on this very obtuse side of my hypocrisy later on. it kind of reminds me, you know, people addressing me on YouTube. When I go to colonize YouTube and get my meme out there, and then people address me with questions like that, you know, like, I don't have time to get back to them in detail. And if I don't, you know, what I like to do, kind of like what I'm going to do in this particular case, is thank you so much for that question. It is so right-minded. It is so, you know, there's so many good things that are right-minded about that question. And I don't really know if I can possibly do any justice to that. But then I'll throw in a but word or a yet or some sort of thing after complimenting them, because Ernest Becker says, you know, the smaller man, you kind of nod to them, you kind of agree with them and let them go, because you don't really want them to mess up your game. It's not important that they mess up your game. That's in the Angels and Armors book, I think chapter 3. Okay, so treat smaller or lesser individuals with kind of a nod and in agreement, and then agree with them. So you'll note throughout my YouTube colonization, I say, thank you, good to meet you, and I make certain I have a civil, pleasant presence. It's very, very important. You'll see the power of being a good civilian. I will demonstrate that through my acts on YouTube. But my point is that when someone has something I want to engage, I'll first congratulate them, tell them it's good and right-minded, and then I'll put a but or a yet, something that distinguishes what it is I'm saying from them, and then I'll go ahead and engage it from this, you know, a whole other perspective, a whole other avenue, and I'll use words like getting at. Let me see if I can get at that, right? So it's not really a factual statement. Right. Now, somebody brought up operatic and opeditic in terms of outlining truth or underlining it or pointing right to it. I'll never point right to it. I'll always make certain things that are kind of conversational. It's kind of like a juggle, right? And if you don't like 3, I can do 5, right? We can do 5 things, right? Yeah. So, thanks for the question. I will maybe get back to you on that next session. Okay, that part of the room that has its arm up. Your, you know, lingual notion,
you know, trying to carry us into an idea of granting substance to nothing the same way that we might to consciousness, so that, like, lingually or in physics, nothing is still nothing, it's substanceless, but in lingual conversation, like consciousness or guilt or pleasure or things of the mind or items of discourse, that items and nothingness is like a substance, because we have to reference it, or we do reference it just like we reference anything else in our language. Can you please, like, kind of maybe talk about how it is, you know, you're a hypocrite with regards to that?
Oh. I'm a hypocrite, and you're a hypocrite.
and everyone's a hypocrite. It's just on a sliding scale of hypocrisy. Now, I didn't make that term up. Somebody else did. I just forget who. But remember to do your readings, the readings that I have given you. If anyone else gives you any other readings, don't read them. I'm talking about readings from great minds, right? Not that other stuff. You say you're different, but you're really the same. There's a level in which what you say is a mirror back to whom it is you are, and not necessarily are you describing what you think you're describing as much as you're expressing what it is you think you're describing, right? Now, this is a sliding scale of hypocrisy. And I would just like everybody to know that when I say that part of the room that has a question, or I mean you, I'm partially meaning me, meaning you, and I just want to get that clear. Okay. Who's up for some juggling?
Rid of the words. artificial,
Natural, synthetic, and out. I don't even know what they mean. It doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? I mean, let's say we want to get out of this car. Oh, I'm stuck in this car, in this plastic car. But don't say the plastic is unnatural because a human made it. And it's a human made it. And humans are natural.
Because obviously everything that ever was is natural.
natural, natural, natural. Don't you get it? It's all natural. So you just go ahead and be that part of the universe that is naturally using the word unnatural. You know, keep on using it. And I won't even say that you're being unnatural in using that word. But maybe I should. But I'm not going to, because it's so stupid to use that word unnatural. Let's get rid of the word unnatural. Yeah, the world always allows for the presence. It allows for the presence of things. I mean, if there was like a mega super duper smart human, the world, the universe would have to allow for that human to, first it would create a gap, and then that person would emerge into that gap like a vagina. That's the only way that it could work. It doesn't work where the universe produces something that's not in something. Oh, please understand me. Everything that be is au natural. So metal teeth, a metal heart, a painting in this technology of me. They're not me, but they are what they be. They're extensions of the all-natural universe. Maybe the only thing that is unnatural is the oddity of the word unnatural itself. Just think about it and then follow me. Agree with me, 'cause together with this view we'll get so much more done. The word out, 'cause everything is just a type of in. Now get in line, but make certain it's behind me, your new author chief. A commentary of my bullshit, you see. Please follow me. And of itself, a semantic game, which is kind of unnatural, and if not unnatural, then certainly it is hypocritical. So I am once again on my sliding scale of hypocrisy, but I'll say it's the language being hoodwinky. Oh, what am I to say? Here I am with my plastic but natural glasses in car in space, breathing gasoline and carbon monoxide and other gases that wouldn't be around without humans into my lungs. Please understand me. Everything that be is au natural.
I guess I want to just kind of, well, I don't know, go at this really quickly. Let's see how to have at this. First of all, I'd like to mention that my MC Escher print in the background it's kind of like, it's my favorite MC Escher print because it's like the cosmos and another, and it's like it's haunting itself. You know what I mean? It's like coming outside of itself. I think you know what I mean by that, and that's why it's my favorite. You know. Anyway, I guess on this talk, I wanted to mention how before mere technologies, people didn't know what their faces looked like. They didn't know if they had a weird-looking face or if they had a normal-looking face, because they only could see other people's faces looking back at them. So, I mean, how are they supposed to know whether or not, you know, they look odd or whether or not they look regular or, you know, part of a group or not? They wouldn't know. I mean, in looking in maybe a river was the pre-mirror technology. And then mirrors, that really changed a lot of things. But anyway, thanks so much, people, for watching my channel, for oh so long. It's been a real pleasure. I don't know what to say anymore. It's been fabulous. I appreciate each and every one of you.